Hello and welcome to the Western Association for College Admission Counseling College Fair. We are so excited to have you participating in this event today. I'm Jennifer, I'm your facilitator, and I'm really excited for us to have a lot of fun learning about 6 great schools. Each of these fantastic schools has 6 minutes to share more about their institution, but they will be around for the entire session to answer your questions. Before we get started, I have just a couple of really important housekeeping items for you. Your camera and your microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. However, you can ask all those questions with the Q&A button on your screen. You can type your questions to a specific school by putting the name of the school with your question, or you can leave a question for any and all of our representatives to answer, so you can learn more about what their schools have to offer. This is just one of many different sessions that are happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website and sign up for the next rounds to come. This presentation, as all presentations of this event, it's being recorded. They'll be available at strivescan.com/WACAC. I'm really excited now to turn it over to our first presenter. We're going to be learning all about Northern Arizona University.
Thank you very much. Let's see if we can get this shared here. And from the beginning. Hopefully you can all see my screen and hear me all right, and hopefully see me as well too. Welcome everyone. My name is Betsy Rugstassen. I am regionally based in San Diego County for Northern Arizona University. So I don't get to go to our beautiful mountain campus too much, but NAU is in the mountain town of Flagstaff, Arizona at 7,000 feet high and within the largest ponderosa pine forest in the world, home to the lumberjacks. Flagstaff is the only major city in Arizona that has actually never reached 100 degrees. Flagstaff can get up to 80 inches of snow a year, but it melts very quickly with that high elevation and because the days are just as sunny as California and Nevada. About 2 hours north and uphill from Phoenix, only an hour and a half south of the Grand Canyon, and the closest university to the Grand Canyon, 45 minutes northeast of Sedona, Arizona, and 3 hours from 11 national parks and monuments. NAU students get to experience 4 beautiful, distinct seasons. And if you like being outside, there's the Snow Bowl nearby for skiing and snowboarding, also hiking, biking, camping, fishing, running. Flagstaff has one of the best urban trail systems in the whole country and the #1 men's cross country team in the US. It's a cultural and historic town, college town, just a few minutes walk from campus, and with about 75 different great restaurants right within walking distance. About 20% of our students are from California and Nevada. 34% total are from out of state in all 50 states and about 70 countries. We're known for majors like English, engineering, construction management, forestry, nursing, anthropology, business, dental hygiene, and hotel and restaurant management. And all of our 100 majors are not impacted. Internships and research are encouraged and readily available in all of our majors. And we have an extensive study abroad program as well as an honors college of about 1,400 students that students can apply to after they're admitted to NAU. And we have NCAA Division I athletics, more than 400 clubs and activities to get involved in. Our average class size is about 37. 80% of our classrooms seat fewer than 50 students. You will be considered for NAU admission if you have at least a 2.5 core GPA and have no more than 1 deficiency in any 2 areas of these 14 courses that you see here. We're on rolling admission, so our applications for fall 2024 will be open until at least May 1st, and our application actually opens up in the summertime for if any of you are juniors, rising seniors this fall. It actually opens up. Usually you can apply in July. NAU is also a Western Undergraduate Exchange, or WUI University, one of the many public state universities in the West that has a reduced tuition for California and Nevada students. And hopefully that map is easy to see. I know that's kind of a funny, unique looking map, but it's an easy way to see all of those WUI states out here in the West. The WUI tuition for NAU applies to all of our degree programs. Every admitted California and Nevada student automatically receives that reduced WUI tuition rate, and there's no additional application to apply for the WUI for NAU. The WUI tuition rate is a savings of actually more than $10,000 a year than if you were a non-resident student, and it's for all of those admitted California and Nevada students. NAU's total cost per year for Western undergraduate exchange students is about $36,000 or possibly a little bit lower. So that's comparable to all the UCs. And actually, because it makes it even a better deal as well, too, because in addition to that automatic reduced WUI tuition rate, all admitted first-year students also automatically receive one of these additional WUI merit scholarships, depending on what that NAU GPA is. So that makes it nice for students as well, too. And it's renewable each year at NAU for 4 years. This is separate from and in addition to any other financial aid, grants, or scholarships a student may also receive as well, too. And the best way to experience NAU and any college, especially the colleges that are here today, is in person. So if you have the chance to visit Flagstaff, you can have a tour, speak with one of our student ambassadors who's a tour guide, or one of our on-campus admissions officers like myself, but who's based on campus if you come to our beautiful campus. The Welcome Center, it's open every weekday from 8 to 5, except on holidays, and our other special events are listed here as well, too. We have Discover NAU Days on select Saturdays all through the fall and winter and spring. NAU Said Yes Days, it's by invitation only just for our admitted students. Those will be starting up in March. You might see a little bit of snow on the ground still then, too, if you come to see us. And our Welcome Center is open every weekday, 8 to 5 p.m., except for holidays as well, too. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about becoming a future lumberjack. And I think I'm going to be able to share my information in the chat as well for everyone as well. So, and you can also keep connected with NAU and other colleges that are here today on social media. So thank you and go lumberjacks. I think we're going to be traveling from the Southwest to the Southeast now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Betsy, for sharing about Northern Arizona University. We're moving on to our next school. We'll be hearing from Rollins College.
Yeah, thanks very much for that, Jennifer. My nephew is a proud lumberjack, but I am going to talk to you about Rollins College. My name is Frank Thomas. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am trying to, there we are. That's me, but I'm also going to drop my contact information in the chat for you. I am the counselor for California and most of the West, and my colleague is for Nevada. For my counselors on the call, I'm also our liaison to our high school counselors and our independent educational consultants. Rollins College is the oldest college in Florida. We were founded at a time when there were only 6 or 7 high schools in the entire state. You're looking at pretty much our entire beautiful 85-acre campus located on the shores of Lake Virginia, one of the few colleges in America that has a beach right there on our campus. And we are a college of liberal arts, so we are focused on your overall education experiences, getting you an entire toolkit to prepare you for life. We do have both liberal arts degrees and STEM degrees, including computer science, biology, and pre-health programs. And because of many of the things you'll hear me say tonight, we have been consistently ranked the #1 regional university in the South by U.S. News and World Report. We are a small college, about 2,300 undergrads, so some of you may be attending high schools with more students than that. And as Florida's oldest college, about half of our students are Floridian, but the other half are coming to us from almost all the states and more than 70 countries around the world. We are, again, focused on the individual. So an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio, an average class size of about 17. These things are great, but you have to remember in your 3rd and 4th year, that means you're going to be in a class with 6 students or 7 students. There's nowhere to hide in a class that size. So you have to be academically brave for a place like Rollins too. We are focused on the undergraduate experience, and we give our undergrads the opportunity to lead research with the assistance of our faculty members, and the student and the faculty member get paid a stipend over the summer to focus on that research. A key factor in our education, though, is study abroad. We're in the top 10 in the United States of colleges regarding the proportion of our students that we send abroad. Most of our programs require at least one abroad semester, and there are abroad options available in every single program of study at Rollins. One of the best things about study abroad here is that for your first abroad program, your financial aid package goes with you. So you can choose the abroad program that fits you best and not just fits your budget. But when I'm asked to give an elevator pitch, a 30-second speech on Rollins, what is the hallmark of a Rollins education? It really is community engagement. It is service. It is giving back to the community and planting that spark in our students from the very beginning so that they are encouraged to look around them and say, what can I do here with these tools, with these skills and experiences that I have had to make the world around me a better place? There really is no better example of our commitment to service than Rollins College's most famous graduate by far, Mr. Fred Rogers of PBS's Mr. Rogers Neighborhood. We're very proud of that association with someone like Fred Rogers because he stands for those values of care and compassion for the world around you that we're trying to instill in our students. We are a Division II college for our NCAA sports and Division I for our water ski program, where we've won 3 national titles. If you're interested in a varsity sport, you can contact your admission counselor, that's me, and I can help arrange an introduction to our coaching staff for you. Dozens of student organizations, it's very easy to get involved in them. About a third of our students will be involved in Greek life on campus, which is primarily service oriented. But we also have a range of clubs from our tabletop gaming club to our surfing club to our textiles club and our paranormal activity society. So a lot of ways for you to follow those interests that you may have. But I could have just saved us a minute here and jumped right to the bottom line, which is our outcome rate. Because of the connections that we have with some of the largest companies in the world and the most prestigious graduate schools in the world, the Rollins graduate isn't spending a lot of time looking for their next step. 97% of the class of 22 was working in grad school or had made other plans within 12 months of graduation. And while I won't cover all of these, you can glance at some of the reasons why Orlando and Central Florida is such an awesome place to live, not just because we've got Disney and Universal and SeaWorld and tons of outdoor recreation, but it's a great place to start a career, great place for recent college graduates, and a great place for young professionals. We are on the Common Application. We have the Rollins online application as well. You can see some of the baseline core GPA. We use an unweighted GPA because not all students have access to AP or IB or dual enrollment classes. And we want at least one metric that we can use to look at students across the board. We've been test optional for 18 years now. It's entirely up to you whether you provide a test score or not, and you'll be considered exactly the same for admission and financial aid, whether you have a test score or not. If you're not sure if test optional is right for you, talk to your admission counselor. We are, as I mentioned, on the Common Application, and for my current seniors, our final deadline is tomorrow. But if you missed that deadline by a few days and I see that you were from this region, we're going to definitely consider your application anyway. We do offer early decision for our juniors. November 15th will be that deadline. And that is also the priority scholarship deadline for our regular decision process next year. When you apply for admission, you're automatically applying for merit-based scholarships at the same time. And almost all of our students are receiving some form of financial aid from us. Please make sure that you fill out the FAFSA when you complete your application. I don't have enough time to remind you what's so awesome about a small college, but I am going to drop my contact information in the chat so that you can reach me and I'll answer your questions in the Q&A. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Frank, for sharing Rollins College with everyone. I just want to give an extra welcome before we move on to our next school to attendees who've recently joined us. We're so excited you're here. You heard Frank mention the Q&A box. If you have questions that you want to ask any of the representatives, please use that Q&A button on your screen to submit some great questions for them to answer. And also keep an eye on the chat tonight where you can grab everyone's contact information so you can follow up and learn more after today. All right, we're going to hear from Marquette University next. Katie?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. So my name is Katie Permanente, and I am an admissions counselor for Marquette University. I am based out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so a little bit different than California, but I am super excited to be here with you all today and to share a little bit about Marquette. So here, oh, there we go. So a little bit of high level Marquette. We are a medium-sized Jesuit institution in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, resting right at 8,000 undergraduate students and 12,000 total students, making us that really medium size. So this provides a lot of opportunities that a larger school have. So we have D1 athletics, research opportunities, internships with the Fortune 500 companies in the city of Milwaukee, all with that access and attention that a smaller school will have. So around 78% of those classes are going to be 30 students or less. Everything is professor taught, and we are a direct entry school, meaning you get to apply to one of our 7 colleges and start taking those classes from day one. You don't have to reapply to anything during your time. This is really beneficial for the students who are undecided, or as we like to call it, multi-interested, because it gives them a couple years of exploratory. They can take majors in different colleges or in one college and really tune into what they're thinking about doing. And it's also beneficial for our students who know right away what they want to do. But throughout each of these colleges, you're really going to be getting that hands-on experience. And we are the 6th best college for job placement in Wisconsin. Most of our students are coming from out of state. So the top 3 being Illinois, Minnesota, and then California. So this is Marquette's campus in the city of Milwaukee. To get from Marquette's campus to the lakefront, you're looking at about a 1.5 mile walk. So this is a big part of that student experience. 90% of our students are living on campus. So I like to say that's 90% of your friends who are there to go into that 3rd ward area and get a coffee or try out a new restaurant, to go to an internship with you or a clinical rotation downtown, to go to the Pfizer Forum, which is where the Milwaukee Bucks play, with a student discounted ticket. It's also where our men's basketball team plays. So if you've heard of the big Marquette Golden Eagles, we love going down to the Pfizer, cheering them on, and that's something that our students are liking to do. Coming a little bit closer home to campus, we have the red trees down the middle, which is separating that academic side of campus, that residential side of campus. So when you're on that academic side, you really get to tune into that academic resources, take your classes, hang out in the quad. And then when you're moving over to that residential side, you can leave it all behind, decompress with your friends. Our freshmen and sophomores are living on campus, and then our juniors and seniors are living off campus, but just a block over. So regardless of if you're a freshman or a senior, you're really going to get that home away from home community tight-knit feel. There are 7 colleges, and like I mentioned, that each of those are having those hands-on experiences. So our College of Arts and Sciences is really known for that research. The College of Business Administration is going to be very leadership-focused curriculum. You're going to get a biz cafe, a simulation, get to start up a business, make operation financial decisions, and then reflect on those in your classes. Communications are students working with state-of-the-art digital equipment. They're really getting in the nitty-gritty with our green rooms and our doing the student podcasts and newspapers. Our College of Education students are getting into a classroom from day one, working their way up to student teaching, and they're required to double major. So not only are they going to be an expert in that education realm, but they're going to be an expert in that content area. Our College of Engineering has one of the oldest, most established co-op programs. So this is where our engineers get to see a project through from start to finish. And during that time, they're getting paid that entry-level engineering salary. Our College of Health Sciences students are able to work in a gross anatomy lab as early as their sophomore year. And our College of Nursing students have 700 plus clinical hours guaranteed. And one of those rotations are up to the student, so they get to customize that experience. We do have the only school of dentistry in Wisconsin, a renowned law school, and then master's programs across all 7 of these colleges, and a lot of 3+ accelerated programs as well. So I will drop my information in the chat, but I like to say, get connected. We are all behind the scenes, working those emails, working those phones, making sure that you are getting the most accurate information that you possibly can. And with that, I'm gonna pass it on over.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Katie, for sharing Marquette. All right, we're moving to our next school, which will be Oklahoma State University.
Hello, my name is Justin Haley. I am representing Oklahoma State University. I am not the California admissions counselor, but we are currently in the process of hiring a regional-based counselor in the California area, so we will have one there soon. Like I mentioned, I'm with Oklahoma State University, located in Stillwater, Oklahoma. It is a D1 university, and it has over 200 majors and minors available. We were founded in 1890. We were a land grant university, and we have a 5-star honors curriculum. We have almost 25,000 students on campus with a 20-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Like I mentioned, over 200 majors and minors divided across our colleges that you can see there. We also have a quiz. If you're not quite sure, it's definitely not an end-all be-all, but I will say I took it again very recently and still came up with the same major that I had in college. So I feel like it works pretty well. We have over 500 student groups and organizations that range across cultural and ethnic to religious to extracurricular to academic based as well. We have 52 national championships to our name, added one today. We just became cornhole national champions, and yes, that is a thing. We're also a very diverse student body with all 50 states represented and over 100 countries on campus with multiple fraternities and sororities. And we're located just 60 miles from the 2 major metropolitan areas in Oklahoma, which are OKC and Tulsa, about an hour's drive to get to either. Now, our application can be found on our website. Also, we use the Common App starting this year that we're very excited about. And you can see what we require for an application there. And we have multiple ways to be admitted to the university. You can guarantee yourself admission to Oklahoma State University by meeting one of the 3 criteria you see on the left of the screen there. But if you don't meet one of those 3, that's perfectly fine. We send every student that doesn't through a comprehensive review process to be admitted, where it's a holistic approach where we look at your GPA and SAT or ACT scores, of course, but also an application essay, leadership, resume, any academic letters of recommendation you may have. And we also currently offer test optional admission as well, so test scores are not required. We also offer many scholarships here at Oklahoma State University, which you can see on the left there. We have an assured scholarship, so you can guarantee yourself a scholarship at Oklahoma State based on your merit there. But then we also have competitive and partnered scholarships available as well. Here you can see a breakdown of our out-of-state achievement of scholarship, which is the assured scholarship available to out-of-state students with the eligibility listed there. This is our typical admissions timeline. We do offer rolling admissions, so there is no hard and fast application deadline, but our application always opens on July 1st of every year for the following year. As you'll know, Common App also opens on August 1st of that year. We offer campus tours every weekday, Monday through Friday in the morning, but then we also offer an afternoon campus tour on Friday afternoons and select Saturdays throughout the year. We have a beautiful campus, and I highly encourage you to see it if at all possible. One of the benefits of coming and touring campus is you also have the opportunity to sign up for an academic opportunity session with your college of interest. and getting some time to meet with representatives from that college and learn a little bit more about them. And we also offer a virtual campus tour on our website as well. We are home of America's Greatest Homecoming Celebration, as named by ESPN. It's a great time every year. The population in the town almost doubles overnight on that Friday from so many alumni and others coming up for that homecoming celebration. You can see in some of those pictures, our Greek houses do a great job with decorations. And in the spirit of it, we dye our fountain in front of Edmond Lowe Library orange for the entire week. Any questions, you can reach out to us. I put my information in the chat, and I'm more than happy to help if you reach out to me, but you can also reach out just to our admissions office as well, with that number and that general email address there. And I will turn it over at that point.
Great. Thank you so much, Justin, for presenting on Oklahoma State. Our next school will be Santa Clara University.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Good evening. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here and listen about our schools. My name is Ricky Bajo. I'm one of the admission counselors at Santa Clara University, and I'm here to tell you about SCU. So just some quick facts about SCU. We're the oldest school in the West. We're located in the heart of the Silicon Valley. We have around 300 days of sunshine a year, so it's a pretty bright and sunny place to be in with a lot of history as well. Being in the Bay Area, yeah. So next slide. Okay, let's see how I will zoom this. Give me a moment, just troubleshooting. All right, perfect. So we are also a Jesuit Catholic institution, just like Marquette University, and our goal is innovation and social consciousness grounded in Jesuit values, right? So what that looks like for us, at least, is that our mission statement states that we want to make the world a more just, humane, and sustainable place for all folks, and that we really care about the 3 C's for our students, right? Developing students who reflect competence, compassion, and consciousness as well. So if these are traits that you align with, whether you are a religious student or not, if these are traits you want to develop in yourself, any Jesuit education is going to be a great place to start building that foundation. Now, that being said, just an overview of our school. So around half of our students are representing the great state of California, while the other half are representing around 49 states and 47 countries. So we are a fairly national and international school. In this case, having that type of community is just going to serve you in terms of building camaraderie and connection with people from different walks of life, right? People you might not be exposed to based on where you're growing up, the other schools you're looking at, so on and so forth. And then also the workforce that you're going to enter. The Bay Area itself is a very international place to be in. So having that experience, having the social capacity to build skills, to build connection with other folks, and to bond over similarities, differences, so on and so forth, is going to be a great thing to develop as you see what you want to do as an emerging adult, as you enter the workforce, and as you decide what impact is it that you want to make in the world, right? That being said, our return on investment is pretty good. Around 80% of our students are taking on 1 internship before finishing their 4 years at SCU. Depending on your program or major, that rate might be a bit higher, especially for our business students, around an 88% internship rate. And then following 6 months after graduating, 91% of our students are entering the workforce, a graduate program, or a service program. So a very quick turnaround for our students. They are confident in entering that next step of their journey. They are not just building a diploma as they finish their 4 years at SCU, but they're also building up their resume. So we really take an experiential learning approach. We want our students to be confident and to be competent in the skill set that they have, and to have an ethics-minded approach to their education, the work they do, and the impact they make. Some of our top employers: Google, Apple, Microsoft, Cisco. A lot of these companies are headquartered in our backyard, maybe about a 20 to 30-minute drive from our campus. I really want to emphasize, though, that with these companies and being in Silicon Valley and Santa Clara itself, you do not have to be a software engineer to be successful. Around half of the roles that these companies hire our students for are going to be non-engineering roles. Also, being in the Bay Area, we provide plenty of access to get out and about. We don't want you just focused on your school life or your campus life, but we want our students to go out in the world as well. So we have a train station right in front of our school. Going up to the city, San Francisco is about a 1.5 hour trip. So if you're taking an internship in San Francisco, a very easy way to get there. UC Berkeley, the Oakland Arena, if you want to catch a sports game or anything like that, about a 2 hour train trip on our end. And then we're just 40 minutes north of the Santa Cruz Mountains and Beach Boardwalk. So you don't have to be subjected just to Silicon Valley, this techie land. You can go up to an urban city. You can get a taste of nature if you want, or if you want a residential, quieter life, you have access to all these spaces by being a Bronco. Now, that being said, our academic overview, we have around 6,000 undergraduates and 3,000 graduate students. So we are primarily undergraduate focused school. This is on the smaller size of a mid-sized university. And as Katie from Marquette said, going to a mid-sized university is going to give you those opportunities that larger schools have, D1 sports, research opportunities, so on and so forth, but that catered educational experience of a small school, right? Really building connections with your faculty members. Every course at SCU is taught by a faculty member. Getting to interact and collaborate with your peers in those small classroom sizes, stuff like that. So we have a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio, an average class size of 23 students, and a 92% retention rate, which means 92% of our first years are saying, yes, Ricky, everything you're telling these lovely folks on Zoom is absolutely true. We're going to be Bronco bound for our next year and ideally the next 4 years. We have an 85% four-year graduation rate. This is almost double to triple the national average, something we're very proud of. That missing 15%, we like to blame on our business and engineering students. This is no fault of their own, but again, this conversation goes to return on investment. Both our business and engineering schools have a 4-1 program. You might have heard of it as a dual bachelor's master's program, where students are getting their bachelor's in science and master's in science within a 5-year span versus doing their undergraduate degree and then applying to grad school after, and then doing 2 to 3 years in grad school. Now, that being said, our undergraduate program. So we have 3 schools at SCU. We're founded as a liberal arts institution, our College of Arts and Sciences. This hosts around 50% of our student body and offers 33 majors. Our Levy School of Business currently ranked top 15% in the nation, offering 7 of our majors, and then our School of Engineering. When you apply to SCU, you apply to one of the 3 schools directly. We take a holistic approach to your application, which means your grades aren't your end-all be-all. So having a C on your transcript doesn't mean you're out of the running. Having a 4.0 doesn't guarantee admission, but we take a holistic approach and looking at your extracurriculars, your personal statement as well. We require 1 letter of recommendation, and then additional info is optional. And then outside of that, some of our
Hey,
deadlines.
Ricky, I'm sorry to jump in, but
No
that
worries.
6 minutes, I know it flies by. So I want to make sure
All
you can
good.
have your info in the chat and any last slide shows we can make sure everyone has your info.
Absolutely.
Great, thank you. All right, we're moving on to our next school, 5 down. We've got number 6 in this 6x6. So we're excited to hear from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute.
Thank you so much. You can hear me, correct? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Let me see.
It is shared. Yep, perfect. Full screen now.
All right.
You're all set.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Clara Nee. I'm one of the assistant directors for undergraduate admissions at Rensselaer. I am filling in tonight for one of my colleagues, Sarah Meliarek, who is your official counselor as far as the admissions side of things go. But I'm happy to continue being a resource for you as you navigate your college search. I oversee I'm a liaison for our School of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences on campus. I have a number of states as my territory. California is not one of them. Arizona is. I know we heard from them earlier. So I'm happy to put my info in the chat after I do this brief presentation. So for those of you who haven't heard of Rensselaer before, we are a medium-sized school right on that sweet spot of about 7,000 undergraduate students. It's small enough where your professors will know your name if you utilize their office hours. years, but it's large enough where you will see some new faces on campus. So again, reiterating those same benefits of a more medium-sized school. We do have students coming from California, Arizona, all over the globe and the US itself. So you wouldn't be alone in being an out-of-state student by any means. We are located in Troy, New York, which is about 3 hours outside of Boston and New York City. So a nice midpoint of New York, more central than upstate. If you hear about Buffalo on the news and their snowfall, I'm happy to say we do not receive that same snowfall. So you will experience all 4 seasons at Rensselaer and in our area of New York, but it will be a mix of things. So on campus, we do have about 200 plus student-led clubs and organizations. So we have a very vibrant student life as far as outside of the classroom goes. We do have D1 sports if you're interested in men's and women's ice hockey. Otherwise, we're D3 for most other sports. Our mascot is the Puck Man. You might see him later on in the presentation. But what we're really known for and at our core is being a research institution. So we do receive about $100 million per year on average for our undergraduate research funding on campus. So we're one of about 39 different universities in the US that can say that we are an R1 Tier 1 school. So you do have a lot of opportunities there to get that hands-on experience early on as an undergraduate student. And so some of you might know Rensselaer, but you might not know that you know Rensselaer, right? So we've had a lot of really impressive alumni go on to do some really great things to contribute back to our global world. So anybody from George Low, who was one of the commanders during the Apollo space mission, to our architects. We certainly have a lot of different architects. Frank and Kenneth Osborne, for my baseball lovers. They are a father and son duo. They designed the old Yankee Stadium and Fenway Park. We have Carly Strife, who is COO and co-founder of BarkBox. George Ferris, who invented the Ferris wheel. So we are coming up on our bicentennial this year. So the amount of alumni who have gone on to do some pretty amazing things really does stand for our current alumni network to support our students out in the field when you do graduate from Rensselaer, but it's also really encouraging to be able to see the impact that you can have with a degree from Rensselaer in your designated field. You may have heard of the announcement that we are going to do one of the first moon missions in about 5 decades for our country, which is a huge historical moment. We're proud to say that one of the 4 astronauts that will be going up on that mission, Reed Wiseman, who's class of 97, aeronautical engineer. And the bottom left, you can see him repping his RPI hockey jersey at the space station. That was in 2014 when he was doing a live chat with our families on campus. We're really excited to hear that he's going to be one of the 4 astronauts going up, set to take off in 2025 because NASA did delay it by a year. But we're excited to see what that has in store for somebody who came from RPI, but also to show you that quite literally, the moon is not off limits. You can have as large of an impact on this world as you'd like with your degree. But just a little bit more about Rensselaer. People will often know us for our engineering programs. They certainly are very popular. It makes up about 60% of our campus, but that's not to overshadow some of our smaller schools on campus like architecture, humanities, arts, and social sciences, our Lally School of Management, and the School of Science is also the second largest on campus. So when you apply, you will apply to a specific school on campus, but we do like to display them as kind of this overlapping circle because there is a lot of overlap both in the curriculum of study, but also the fluidity between these schools. So we are seeing students from all 5 schools working on research projects in real time together and really collaborating amongst the 5 schools. So that is something that we really promote, you stepping something outside of the major that you're accepted into, to experiment with different classes, maybe pursue a different minor or a dual major, and it can be allowed in another school. So that's just a little bit about Rensselaer. Again, I'm happy to be a point of contact. I'll put it in the chat, but certainly I'm excited to hear some of our questions that we'll have up soon. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Claire, for sharing a Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute tonight. All right, well, we have a little bit of time before we wrap up, so I'd like to invite all of our representatives to pop back on camera. We have a Q&A question, a live one that we're going to ask, and we wanted to give use this time to bring to life a little bit more about each school, but also for all of our guests tonight, any last questions that you want to put in the Q&A, and to make sure to check the chat to grab that contact information so you can follow up. 6 minutes is just a small taste of everything these schools have to offer, so we hope that you're going to follow up even more after tonight. All right, so representatives, I'm going to pose our first question, and when I do that, we'll start with Betsy, our representative from Northern Arizona. When the person ahead of you finishes their answer, just feel free to unmute yourself and answer the question, and then we'll go in that same order you presented all the way to Claire. So the first question is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? So you're the ultimate pros on this process. What's a top tip that you have for students and families? Betsy?
Sure. What advice would I give someone going through the college search process? Well, I just heard a figure not too long ago that 70% of the colleges and universities in the US accept about 70% of the students. So there's probably several different colleges out there that you will be admitted to, whatever you're looking for and everything too. I always tell students also just go to the website for that particular college too. You can get so much information about a virtual tour, who is my admission representative, who handles this state or that state or this county as well too. So sometimes starting with the website as well too. Sometimes you can see certain departments as well too. It's a good starting off point for looking at all those colleges. And of course, if you can visit them in person, that's even better.
Fill out the FAFSA. Don't listen to anything that you've heard anybody else or your neighbors or whatever say. There is money out there to help you pay for your education, and many colleges can't consider you for anything besides their merit-based scholarships unless you complete the FAFSA. So the worst thing that happens is nothing. And the best thing that happens is there could be several $1,000s in additional aid you didn't know you qualified for. So even this year, with as much struggles as we're having, be patient, complete the FAFSA.
You don't have to do this alone. As you can see here or at any college fair that you go to, every university hires admissions representatives. So feel free to reach out to us, take advantage of that resource. We're here to help you navigate this process as best as we can. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out.
I always say be yourself. It's really easy to get wrapped up in what your friends might be doing or who's depositing in January, but just sticking really true to your story and what you're looking for in your college experience. This is your next 4 years. This isn't, or 2 years. This isn't anyone else's. So really staying true to yourself throughout this process.
Yeah, see how you grow as an academic professional and a person and apply to those schools, right? That's going to be a school that you can call home for the next 2, 4, or 6 years. Outside of that, in terms of your application process, find a strategy that works for you. If you need to work at your essay every single day or once a week, find out what that is and then communicate with your family or guardians what you need from them, and you'll be in a good spot to be not as stressed out as most people are.
And I would just add to that and say, just be your authentic self. You're still in the process of figuring out who that is. But certainly, if you have interest in a specific school, if you're able to physically go onto campus and kind of imagine yourself, if you could picture yourself on campus for 4 years of your life, you will kind of figure out the rest. It is a learning process. It's education, but you will learn a lot about yourself once you do finally make it to college.
These are all such great tips. I hope to just echo what you're all saying as a former college admission counselor. You know, it can seem like these are people reading your application so far away, but I hope this shows you that they are welcoming resources and maybe gives you a little peek behind that curtain about who can help you all along the way. Well, we have reached the end of our time together. I know it just flies by. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. To all of our representatives, you did such a great job sharing not just an insight into the academic experience, but the community, the culture, the opportunities on each of your campuses. And I hope that every student and family member, counselor who's here is ready to learn more after today. When you close your window, there's going to be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. We definitely encourage you to check back to the schedule and join us for the next 2 rounds to come. It's a great opportunity to learn more about additional awesome schools. And also be sure to check out the recording of this session as well as all of the other recordings. They'll be posted in the coming days at that same website where you registered. You can see that on screen, strivescan.com/WACAC. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. All the best. The college journey is a great adventure to come. Have a great night.